Joining me now is Thomas Gernay, a structural fire expert and assistant professor of civil engineering at Johns Hopkins University. Thank you so much for being with us, Thomas. Thomas, this fire was raging for a long time. It took over 9 hours to put it out. What were the particular challenges here for firefighters?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Indeed, it was a very long fire, and it was a peculiar fire because most of the fuel, the combustible material, was in the roof. And as you've seen, the fire spread throughout the entire roof in this timber structure. And that posed a number of challenges for firefighters because they had a difficult access due to the height of the structure. And also they had to fight a very aggressive fire at the top on the roof without damaging the structure, the stone structure that was standing below. So the cathedral was made of a stone structure of walls and arch vaults, and the stability of those during the night of the fire was not guaranteed, was not sure. So fire brigades had to be cautious in pouring water in fighting that fire.
Thomas, France's interior minister said that saving the cathedral came down to a crucial time window of 15 to 30 minutes. Why was that time frame so important?
So when you have a fire like this developing, it's clear that you have to react very quickly, and the fire brigades did a fine job at prioritizing on which part of the structure they were acting to prevent further spread and to prevent damage to notably the still standing stone structure. So you must know that fire generates heat, and that's the heat that really challenges those structures, and no building material is immune to the heat, to the effect of fire. So even though stone is incombustible, it can be weakened by extreme temperatures. So the fire brigades acted to protect the two towers, notably, and it was important to do so quickly and to do so efficiently.
And as we mentioned earlier, those emergency teams did also manage to rescue some of the valuable artwork and some of the religious items, including what is said to be the crown of thorns worn by Jesus Christ. Describe what was involved in that rescue operation, what those firefighters were working with.
That was really remarkable because the first mission of fire brigades, as well as the first objective of fire codes, is usually to protect lives. And so you are looking at enabling people to evacuate a building. But here, the firefighters actually went inside the building to preserve and safeguard this invaluable artwork while there was a fire raging atop in the roof. And the roof cover was made of lead, which melts at a fairly low temperature. So there was actually melting lead dropping. There was this spire collapse, which of course collapsed through the entire structure. Was a big danger, a big threat to those firefighters. But still, there was a special mission and a special contingent of firefighters going inside and rescuing those artworks.
And now the next step before any restoration efforts is investigating the cause of this fire. How do firefighters go about doing that?
That's a very complex issue, a very complex forensic issue that is probably going to take weeks or even more so. And of course, we cannot prejudge of the cause. But one observation, though, that we have to make is that there were ongoing renovation works. And we observed that construction works and renovation works are a time of particular danger in terms of fire safety, because you have presence of flammable material on those scaffolding, as well as heat sources. You have welding works, you have flame torches. And sometimes that can start a smoldering fire that is not observed immediately, but that develops hours later during the night, for instance. So this is a scenario that is quite common, unfortunately, with historic building. So without prejudging of the cause, and there will be an investigation, but I mean, the accidental cause linked to the renovation work seems a plausible way to explain that. Yeah.
Right. Thomas, what are the possible lessons here? Is it possible, for example, to add sprinkler systems or fire-breaking walls to historical buildings without compromising them architecturally?
Ensuring the fire protection of historic building is indeed a delicate trade-off. A balance needs to be found between preserving the heritage value and ensuring fire protection. But generally speaking, fire protection is best achieved through a combination of layers where you have prevention, fire early detection and efficient detection, smoke detection, as well as active suppression systems such as sprinklers that you mentioned, as well as compartmentation, which is preventing the fire spread through the use of fire barriers, so that if it starts somewhere, it cannot spread too much and it remains under control. And finally, fire endurance of the structure itself. So there are techniques that exist to implement those layers of protection, including in existing historic structures that were built long before fire codes. But that requires some investment and some works, of course. Yeah.
Thomas Gernay, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.